All right. Hello, my name is Mr. Whyzguy. We're going to be watching Vice Debates, Asian Americans Debate Model Minority and Asian Hate. And yeah, so they said minority, so I'm going to be watching this and throwing out my thoughts. You saw the title of this video, so I'm not going to waste any more time and we're just going to get straight into it. Enjoy this very short clip.
Hi, and welcome to our conversation about what it means to be Asian American. I'm Krishna. My parents came here from India. I was born here. So I identify as South Asian American or Asian American. And I just wanted to call out that, you know, we're talking about the largest continent on the planet with multiple countries, ethnicities, sub-ethnicities within it. So we did our best to try to get a diverse mix of
Russian people are Asian
backgrounds on this panel, but you can't get everyone's opinion. So as we start, I want to get a quick poll.
Wait, where are the Russians?
Think the term Asian American is useful? So that's 1, 2.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't see any Russians here. But we're gonna talk about Asia. We're not gonna talk about the biggest country in the entire world when it comes to like square feet. Russia. Most of it's uninhabitable, but it's still the biggest place. But I don't see a single Russian here. Good job, Vice. Good job, Vice.
3, 4, 5. We got a couple 50-50s. What about if we were to add Asian American Pacific Islander? I guess I'm curious to hear why, and maybe the way we can do that is going around the room and talking about who we are, where we came from, and what that term means to us, and what you think it might mean to the rest of the world. So
I'm Yiling, and I would identify myself as an Asian American. I feel really strongly about being an immigrant. I'm first gen, or I say first and a half gen, because I was born in China, and then we immigrated to New York and then to San Francisco. And I think that like the term
China, from the communist, from the CCP to New York, okay, and then right to San Francisco, California, okay. I think I understand this person already, 100%. I mean, you left China, so that was a big step up. But then you went to New York. That's and then you made the mistake of going to California, which I think New York is a little bit better. You made the mistake of leaving New York to go to California. But honestly, it's not really a mistake leaving New York. That's not the point I'm making. The mistake is going to California. Leaving New York and going to any other state but California or New Jersey. And it's a good move on you. Good move. There might be another state that's... Oh, actually, no. Detroit probably would be worse. Michigan, Detroit. Specifically Detroit, Michigan. I'm not sure about anything else, anywhere else in Michigan, but those places. Yeah. So, let's continue.
term Asian American, it's complicated because it applies to so many different
Just had a random thought.
identities, ethnicities, and cultures. It's a helpful term when, you know, you don't really know what else to you kind of just like lump everybody into like one term. And I don't think there's any issue with it being Asian American and Pacific Islander either, because that's just more inclusive in my opinion.
So there's a sense of community amongst people from different cultures.
Yeah, I think it's difficult because like you can't really put it into words. It's applicable to such a wide...
I think it's difficult because it doesn't make any sense. If you're all different, how are you a community? You're a community because everyone is different? I mean, I guess you could see that, but then not everyone is different. Like that statement, everyone is different, is not necessarily true. Like you got people that are more different than others. So like the percentage of people being different varies a lot between cultures. That's why we can separate a bunch of people in different ethnic groups. Even though the people within the ethnic group are different people, they're closer to being the same than people of other ethnic groups. Like there are people, if you compare two people from two different ethnic groups, they're much more different than two people of the same ethnic groups. That's basically my point. So, I mean, yeah, it's hard to put in words because it doesn't really make much sense what she's trying to say.
wide range of things, and like, you know, we're not a monolith.
It's complex.
Yes.
But maybe I'm just an idiot.
I was born in Manila, Philippines.
Interesting. And what does that heritage mean to you?
You know, I'm a little conflicted because sometimes I just want to be
California.
American. I don't want to specify the fact that I'm Asian, but at the same time, it's like someone looks at you, they're going to say that you're Asian, so you say you're Asian American. I don't like the idea of separating the Pacific Islander just because for so long I was told I wasn't Asian, that I was a Pacific Islander. I just think it's all in.
Oh yeah, because because the whole China, Taiwan, and I think the Philippines is in that general location. Yeah, China, I guess people there's a whole they're kind of it's a bit racist over there. Including their races, like they compared to America, like over there is kind of it's worse. It's way worse over there. They blame people for people's races a lot, and then they disown other races because they're not enough of their race. It's really like it sucks over there, and I kind of understand where he's coming from that, because like I've had friends that were called the same thing, like they're not Asian because you weren't born in China or you were born in North Korea, you're not considered Asian or whatever. It's kind of brutal over there when it comes to that type of stuff. So I sympathize. That's probably the only time I'm gonna sympathize with this guy.
Encompassing we are Asian.
Micah.
I feel very prideful about the Asian Pacific Islander. I live in San Diego now, but I'm originally from Honolulu, Hawaii, and my dad's born and raised from Kona. I am so close with my family.
Wait,
Just
in the
growing
middle
up,
of...
It's hard to explain, but being from Hawaii, like the aloha...
In the middle of Hawaii, in the middle of the... Wait, is that Pacific? In the middle of the Pacific Ocean, that counts as being That's Asian? Or maybe he has family in other places. But Hawaii was one of them that he came from as well. Okay.
Aloha spirit is real. Being around your family, having that common courtesy for community is just something that I'm really proud of.
And you feel like, as it relates to Asian American and Pacific Islander, these are two things that kind of go together in some ways?
Yeah, they do. They do.
How?
So the thing about Hawaii is that it's a really huge collection of different types of ethnicities, and there's a lot of...
It's a tiny little island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. So, I mean, I guess a lot of people end up going to Hawaii and touristing, so he's not wrong with that. And it's not like there's one group of very successful people that's able to have go to vacations on at Hawaii. If that was true, then his island wouldn't be filled with so many different types of diverse tourists.
Asian influence in Hawaii as well. A lot of different people who are there are from Korea, China, Japan, and so I just consider them family as well.
Well, good
What's the difference?
to meet you. Tell me about yourself, man.
Genetically, I'm a quarter Italian, 75% Vietnamese, but I am...
Here comes the problem boy. Here comes the problem boy. Problem boy. The only guy that has a suit on.
I'm really with Teddy Roosevelt on this one. I don't believe in the hyphenated American thing. I identify as American. I consider myself an American. Sure, genetically, I'm mostly Asian. I don't go around thinking I'm an Asian American, because I think that, especially considering the fact that America today is increasingly a more and more diverse country, which is what it is, the only way that's going to hold together is if people can, to some extent, all identify as being part of the same nation, part of the same creed to an extent. I mean, that's just the way I would view it.
Vish, you're up.
I'm 100% Hindu Indian American. I was born in Brooklyn. My parents are from India. I personally just describe myself as American. I find, like Vince said, the hyphenated American thing, I think it's by definition divisive when you're dividing the identity. I prefer to call myself American. I don't call myself Indian American, Asian American, though when people ask, like, oh, well, what are you? I'll say, well, I'm of Indian heritage, but I was born in Brooklyn.
Yes.
I probably identify as Asian American. I also, like, my experience, my mom.
Bro, how many people are they gonna... They tried to get a very diverse group of people, right? But this is the third person that's from California. We got one person from New York. I don't even remember what the guy in the tux was in. It's so diverse, man. Everyone from California and New York too. I'm like, okay, all right, Vice. All right, Vice. Let's see.
Is from Japan. She immigrated to America. So I do truly feel that I am a part of the Asian American experience where, at home, it's a Japanese household. It's a Japanese culture.
Asian
'cause I was
American
predominantly
experience.
also raised by my mom too. And then also we happen to live in America. And I think there is a very unique perspective in that. As well as I'm a proud Asian American, I'm a proud Black American too. I'm a proud biracial American. And I think there is definitely also a need for us to be able to say Asian American, especially because we are often seen as not American or not American enough. But then you go back to Asia and they're like, oh, you're so American. So it's just like, well, who am I?
Being between cultures in a way.
If you're trying to get a sense of wanting or being based on other people that just based on random people saying, oh, you're not American enough, or you're too American, like I wouldn't care for those opinions of random people. If it's your friends, maybe you should talk to them about that if it bothers you that much. Actually, no, you should, because they're your friends, so you would want to like fix that. They're not like making you feel like garbage every time they say that. But if it's just some random people on the internet, which is usually is the case, a sense of wanting or being, don't try and get that from random people. Really, you shouldn't try and get that from random people. It's just not. That's not a healthy way to go about living. Like it's really bad for your mental health if you're taking the opinions of random people on the internet. You just got to ignore that type of nonsense. If it doesn't bother you, then more power to you.
Way or straddling cultures, being part of two cultures.
Yeah, being part of two cultures. I'm Asian, I'm American, I'm Asian American.
Well, nice to meet you. Joyce.
So I'm a Taiwanese Asian American. I identify as Asian American, but at the same time, I think
Another
the
New
term
Yorker.
Asian American and Asian Pacific Islander, they have to be separated, because when we go to colleges and apply to get in, we're on different socioeconomic pathways. So actually the term Asian Pacific Islander would actually get you in more than someone just does East Asian, because I believe now they separate the two.
Well, there's a lot to unpack there, and I think that's what we'll try to do today. But it's good to meet you. I guess this is a funny question, but like, do you think the average American, when meeting you, would be like, oh yeah, you're Taiwanese?
No, they think I'm Chinese. I'm Japanese or Korean, but basically I'm Asian.
One of the
I always
three.
ask, where am I from, because of the way I look.
And they ask like, where are you really from?
Yes, yes. And I'm like, always, I'm American.
I get that a lot too. Ellen.
Hi, my name is Ellen.
I bet she's in
Korean-American.
California.
I came from
Washington.
Korea when I was 8 years old. Got on
All
a
right,
plane
that's
by
new.
myself, not speaking a word of English. Didn't know white people were real. For me, it was.
She has the Hillary Clinton laugh. I'm not gonna lie. And the Kamala Harris laugh. No, more Hillary Clinton. That was just why. Why? And that's all I'm gonna say. No, I lie. That's probably not all I'm gonna say about that. I'm probably gonna put on the top, right above, saying, "Yeah, he's a liar, big fat liar." Post processing. I don't know what future me's gonna say, but yeah, whatever. Washington though. Now, Washington. She's from Washington, but that's basically right above California, right? I think it's right above California. I think Oregon is like a little bit inland, and Washington is like right at the border, and California is right below it. There might be another state. I'm not so sure about the whole on the West Coast, because I'm on the East Coast. I know where things are on the East Coast.
Huge culture shock. My parents had already immigrated, so I was joining them. I like to be identified.
So basically, that big ramble was all to say that she basically lives in California. So again, very mixed, diverse views here. This is very diverse group of people right here.
Ridiculous.
And I recognize the importance of Asian American Pacific Islander. Definitions are always constantly changing as we as society constantly evolving. I don't like to just consider myself American, because when anybody in this country looks at me, they don't just see American. They always see Asian first. Instead of using that as a thing that holds me back, I say it proudly. And it's taken time to accept my identity, to really know that that's sort of an umbrella term to open the door into the conversation. I know it's not possible to encompass all of us because Asia's so big, right? But
You just called them Asian. There's your umbrella to encompass all of you guys. Asian. That's it. Or Asian American, because technically you are in America right now. But there is one word. It's a very general word, and I think people don't really like generalities. But Asian. There you go. Solve your problem. Not that complicated. At least this specific thing that she's talking about isn't that complicated.
In order for us to be seen and heard, we have to start somewhere, so I think it's a good term for that.
Ziad.
I'm Ziad. I use he, him pronouns, and I am
look at that,
Bangladeshi
New York.
American, and I'm
New
Asian
York.
American. The reason why
Cool.
I, is lukewarm about the term Asian American insofar as its usefulness is that I don't actually often refer to myself as Asian American, despite like fully believing that I am, because to Yuling's point, oftentimes I think people have a perception of what Asian American looks like, right? And sometimes that leaves out.
Who cares about their other people's perception of what Asian American looks like? The thing that should matter is what you think of it, and what you think of it is what matters, and what your family thinks of it should also matter, because you care about the opinions of your family members, or at least I would hope you would, or at least in general most people would. So let's just leave it at that. Just so we don't have to, I don't have to argue that. Like we can all agree on that. I hope. I forget where I was going with this.
Often refer to myself as Asian American, despite like fully believing that I am, because to Yuling's point, oftentimes I think people have a perception of what Asian American looks like, right? And sometimes that leaves out South Asians. Sometimes that leaves out Central Asians.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So basically, there's a trend here. A lot of the people here, minus suit and tie guy, right there in the corner. It seems like there's this obsession with how other people to see them instead of, because like that's not really good for your mental. I honestly I feel like I'm beating a dead horse, but he's just bringing it up again, and I'm like, no, that's just a world of hurt that you're walking into. Like, just ignore the garbage that's out there and focus on the things that matter, like the families, the friends, not the random people on the internet that's saying all this. That would like, I feel like he's just seeking validation from other people when you really shouldn't. Like the way that he's coming off, I feel like that's what he's doing. I think I might be wrong, but it's just a feeling right now.
Sometimes that leaves out huge parts of the world. Me personally, like I lean into my hyphenated identities, right? I am American, and I am Muslim, and I am Bangladeshi, and I am Asian, right? And I am all of these things at once, and I'm not one more than the other, but I take pride.
So I stand corrected for my last statement. He's full force. He does not care
In all of these things, and I think that for me, I find power in that insofar as when I look at this country, I think it is so damaging, right? So saddening that sometimes this country makes us choose.
I mean, what you point out is that we kind of all have a dual consciousness, or are
the country doesn't make you choose. You can choose that for yourself.
In the world, which is to say, we go home, we might have a different culture, a different food, a different language that we speak. We go to school, and we have friends who might not share or understand what that language culture is, and we have a desire to both be true to the heritage, but then also be accepted, successful, and otherwise in the non-Asian American world.
You can't have your cake and eat it too. I think that's the saying. You can't have your cake and eat it too. Is that the saying? You can't have your cake and eat it too. Like you're basically asking for something and then asking for more. Like you can't have both things simultaneously. It's a pick or choose. Like if you want to go with people that don't live in this place that you live with, then I don't understand why you would expect the people here to just be like, yeah, we're just going to accept that. It's like going to China and then being like, hey, so we have we're Muslim. Can you be like, accepting of our heritage, please? And they're going to be like, no, this is China. We believe Chinese stuff. We don't. If you don't believe what we believe, then you shouldn't be here, or we're going to put you in re-education camps, which is what they have. Good job, China.
That language culture is, and we have a desire to both be true to the heritage, but then also be accepted, successful, and otherwise in the non.
Yeah, you basically. So my point is, you can't have both things. It's like, I feel like they're gonna try and make it seem like it's bad that you're not allowed to be able to have both, but that's just the way life is. It's a reality. It is what he's basically asking for is like a utopia, and that doesn't exist.
Asian American world that we live in.
Okay, so you know what I think is kind of disrespectful? Going to someone, looking at them, looking at their stuff, and then leaving without saying anything. Yeah, that's a little bit disrespectful. So I think you should not do that, and leave a comment down below. Thank you.